Hello everyone, welcome to our new accounts orientation. We're very excited you've decided to set aside some time to check out our presentation. I look forward to walking you through your first trade with us and to get you comfortable with all the benefits and features of your brand new account here at Questrade. At Questrade, we care about Canadians' financial success. We offer better, simple, more affordable ways to take control of your money. And here's our agenda for today's presentation. First, we'll quickly cover two of our most popular account funding methods and go over how to move money from your bank accounts to your new Questrade accounts. Afterwards, we'll go through a quick tour of your new account and even place your first trade for both a stock and an ETF. And after that, we'll wrap up with an overview of your account activity page where you can see exactly what's happening in your account. A little intro about Questrade for our newest clients. We're proudly Canadian owned and operated, and we've been in the market for the last 20 years as the largest privately owned independent brokerage with just over $9 billion in assets under administration. This year, we became the #1 ranked online brokerage as rated by MoneySense, and we recently also received the Dalbar Service Seal of Excellence for our best-in-class customer service. So feel free to reach out to us anytime if you need a hand with your account. We're always happy to help. Questrade is also a member of the Investment Industry Regulatory Organization of Canada, known as IIROC, and a member of the Canadian Investor Protection Fund. And here's a quick snapshot of all the various self-directed investing products we offer. As you can see with your new account, we give you the ability to invest in almost any type of investing product, including stocks, bonds, exchange-traded funds, and much more. Next, we'll go over our two most popular account funding methods: online bill payments and pre-authorized deposits. Online bill payments are offered by all Canadian banks and credit unions, and it's our recommended way of funding your account in Canadian dollars. All you have to do is log into your bank's online banking page, head over to the bill payments area, and search for and add Questrade as a payee along with your account number. If you have multiple accounts, please add more than one payee at the bank so your funds end up in the correct account with us here at Questrade. Your money usually only takes 1 to 2 business days to arrive before you can start trading. And if you don't use online banking, you can also make bill payments over the phone or with a teller at a branch. So pre-authorized deposits are our second most popular funding method and the main way to transfer US dollar funds to your Questrade account, as they can't be sent via bill payments. Simply head over to the pre-authorized deposits page under the Funding tab on My Questrade, and you can either electronically link your bank account with your Questrade account, or complete a manual setup by providing us with either a direct deposit form or a void check. Once you've linked your bank account to your Questrade account, simply fill out the details on the page such as amount, currency, and the date of your deposit, and once you've made the request, your money usually arrives within 2 business days for amounts under $10,000 and can take up to a week for larger amounts. Before we head right into our live trading demo, I'll quickly cover your account's summary page. And after a quick review of where to access anything important related to your account, we can jump right into making a few trades. We'll cover a stock and an ETF trade, and we can also take a deeper look at your orders, balances, and how everything works in the background once you send an order to the exchange. Alright, we'll start on our account's homepage here. If you're following along, feel free to log into your account as well for some hands-on practice. When you first log in, you'll see the main summary page for your accounts. This page will be your go-to area for a quick overview of your balances and any requests to do with your account. On the top left here, we can see our overall portfolio balances as of this morning. First, you'll see your unrealized gains or losses. For our newer investors, this is essentially where you'll be able to see a snapshot of your overall returns and whether you've made a gain or a loss in the account so far. Unrealized simply means that the shares or investments have not been sold or realized. On the right side here, we can see the quick links area. These are a few links to the most common requests and pages for your account. For your self-directed account, you'll be able to see a little info about how much cash you hold, the value of your investments, and your total equity, which is essentially your cash plus your investments. The top navigation bar of your page here will be how you find your way around the Questrade site to make changes, edit preferences, and place requests for your account. We have pages for requests, funding your account management, and reports, and each area will have its own option to go through. We're now going to move on to making our first trade in our web trading platform. To access the trading platform, simply click the Accounts button here, Then select the trading button with the lightning bolt. So this is our web trading platform. I'll showcase some of the most important features and pages, and we can go right into making some trades afterwards. At the top of the page here, you can easily switch between which account you're viewing and trading in if you have multiple Questrade accounts. The navigation bar on the left here will allow you to quickly switch between the various different pages in the trading platform. We're currently on the account page, which is also your home page for the platform. As you can see, we're currently viewing our balances, but we can easily switch over to our positions, any orders you've placed, executions for your orders, and any activity for your account. We'll cover these pages in more detail once we have some sample trades to show. For your main balances page, here are some of the important areas to pay attention to. You can see your total open P&L or profit and loss for your account here at the top, and your daily P&L next to it as well. Below this, you can also switch between your current and start of day balances here. And then these columns here will show both your Canadian and US balances, and an approximate balance if you were to convert to a single currency. At the very bottom here, we can see your closed profit and loss for this specific account, as well as any open or closed orders that you may have placed. Before we go into making our first trade, let's quickly cover some of the important pages here in the platform. The watch list page shown here will allow you to view any of our public watch lists, as well as create your own custom watch list to stay on top of market movements for any investments you're interested in. To create your own watch list, click the three small dots here, then Manage Watch Lists, and you can add your own watch list with the plus button here. One feature I also wanted to show on this page is the Edit Columns button here. You'll see this button show up on a few different pages within the trading platform, and if we click into it, we can edit which columns are shown for our watch list. This can be extremely useful if you want to add more columns of information such as dividend information, yearly highs and lows, and any of the Greeks for options trading. The Edit Columns button will appear on many other pages, so feel free to customize what you see on the platform. So we'll go over the stocks page next. This page is where you'll spend a ton of time to review information about stocks and exchange-traded funds before you place your trades. We can search for a company's stock or an exchange-traded fund using the symbol lookup search box here. Ticker symbols are often shortened forms of the company name, and you can try searching with the full name of any investment here. However, if you're having trouble finding the right ticker, Google search is usually your best friend. This is especially the case when a company trades on multiple exchanges or has different types of shares available. For example purposes only, I will be placing a stock trade for Apple stock. This is in no way a recommendation to buy or sell and should not be taken as any form of trading advice. Apple's ticker is quite simple, it's AAPL. Once we enter the ticker here, you'll see Apple show up in the drop-down list along with the exchange it trades on, the Nasdaq. Simply click here and the stocks page will reload with a ton of information on Apple's shares. In the interest of saving time and keeping things simple for our intro video, I won't be covering absolutely everything on this page, but keep an eye out for future videos for more in-depth walkthroughs. The main information we're looking for here can be found in the Level 1 box. If we take a look here, we can see two important prices, the bid and the ask. Simply put, the bid is the highest price an investor is willing to pay for one share of Apple, and the ask is the lowest price an investor will accept to sell one share of Apple. As the number of buyers or sellers increases or decreases, so will these bid and ask prices. A large number of buyers will usually drive the bid price up, and a large number of sellers will most likely push the ask price down. You'll notice there's always a small difference between these prices. This is also known as the bid-ask spread or just a spread. This can either be a few cents or it can be much larger with investments that don't trade in high volumes. Other information found in the Level 1 box can also be incredibly useful when making a decision to trade or invest. You can see the high and low of the day and year, along with the opening price of the day, average trading volumes, dividend yields, and much more. At the bottom of the stocks page, we'll see any news articles that relate to the investment we're viewing. Feel free to browse through these to make a better informed decision before buying or selling. On the right side of the page, we'll see a basic chart for the stock, and you can change between different time frames using the buttons below. If you're looking for more advanced charts, please click the button here at the top right. By default, this advanced chart will be shown as a candlestick chart, and you can change your time ranges and candlestick frequency using the buttons here at the bottom of the page. We also have a large number of chart studies available here. Feel free to add them to your charts for further analysis, and all of the studies can be customized with your own values by clicking the Edit button. One of the other great features in our advanced charts is the Comparison button. This tool will allow us to compare the current investment we're viewing to any benchmarks such as indexes or industry peers, but you can also add any other investment to compare it to as well. Lastly, we also have some fantastic drawing tools for our charts located here next to the Comparison button. We can add a number of different types of drawings, including trend lines, channels, Fibonacci patterns, and more to perform any kind of technical analysis before we make a trade. Right from the chart, we can quickly add the stock to our order entry screen on the right side by clicking the green Buy Sell button from this window or any other stock window. You'll notice that most of the information for our order is pre-filled automatically. For our example trade today, I'm going to leave the quantity at 100 shares. You can set different default amounts or buy any amount of shares as you'd like, as long as it's at least one whole share. For this first order, we'll be using a type of order called a market order. There are a few different types of orders, but for today's video, we'll focus on the two most popular, market and limit. So market orders are orders to buy or sell an investment at the best available price in the current market. If you remember back to the bid and ask prices, if we use a market order, we'll pay the ask price or very close to it, as it's the lowest price the sellers are currently accepting. Market orders tend to fill or complete instantly, and they're considered to be the simplest type of order. However, they do have some drawbacks for investments that trade in low volumes and have a large bid and ask spread. Let's go ahead with our example trade for Apple shares using a market order. You'll notice with the market order, I do not have the option to enter a price. This is because you'll be paying the best available price in the market currently, also known as the ask. The duration will not matter for a market order. We'll cover this in our next example. When I click the green Buy button at the bottom here, before my order goes through, we'll see an order confirmation box appear in the middle of your screen. On the top, we'll see a summary of your order, and we can also see which account you're using in case you have multiple Questrade accounts. Most importantly, you can confirm the trade value and any commissions for the trade. Once I hit Send Order, we should receive a confirmation that our order was filled or completed very shortly. With a market order, it will fill almost instantly. Great, so we received the confirmation shown below in the pop-up, and we can also see the shares of Apple we bought appear in the Positions gadget below the order entry box. Before we check on our positions page to review our trade, let's go through another example for an exchange-traded fund. In this example, we'll be buying an ETF which trades the exact same way a stock does. For this example, we'll search for SPY in our symbol lookup box. SPY is an ETF that tracks the price of the S&P 500 in the US, and it's an easy way to get exposure to 500 different companies by buying this one ETF, rather than investing individually into various stocks. You can think of an ETF like a basket of assets. These can be stocks, bonds, even real estate and other types of assets. Remember, this is only an example, and a ton of different ETFs exist that all track the S&P in slightly different ways. For this example, we'll be using a limit order. A limit order allows you to set the price you'd like to pay for the stock, but does complicate things a little bit. When using a limit order, essentially you pick the price, but your order may not complete or fill if the investment you're buying doesn't reach your price range. For example, SPY's ask price is around 300 right now. If I input a limit order that is the same or higher than the ask, I'll pay the ask price. But if I input an order that is lower than the ask price, my order may not fill right away or even ever, unless the ask price drops a bit and matches up with my limit price. How long your order is active for is determined by the duration here in the order entry box. If I use a day duration, my order will be active until it's filled or 4 p.m. passes. If the ask price doesn't match up with your limit price before 4 p.m., your order will automatically be canceled. We also have other durations available if you'd like your order to be active for a longer time frame. This can be useful to keep a limit order active for multiple days or even weeks. The most popular durations are day and GTC, or good till cancelled. For our limit order example, let's stick with 100 shares of SPY, and to keep things simple, I'm going to use a limit price that's very close to the ask price, so my order is more likely to fill immediately. Fantastic, so we've gotten confirmation that our limit order has filled. So let's move on to our orders and positions pages so we can review our trades. We can make our way back here by selecting Accounts, then Orders. This page has some filtering options here at the top. If you have a large number of orders to sort through, these tools can be very useful for getting to the info you're looking for easier, and you can even filter by the specific symbol or ticker if you'd like using this. Let's quickly cover some of the columns shown here in the Orders page. The first column will show you the symbol and a short description of the asset, and the second column will show you the status of your order. For status, we have a few options. Executed is an order that's fully completed and filled. Accepted means your order has been sent to the exchange, but it has not filled or executed yet. You may also see canceled or replaced in the status column, depending on if you've canceled or modified your order. The next column just shows if it was a buy or sell, and the quantity is just the amount of shares in your order. Fill quantity shows how much of your order has filled or completed. Sometimes with limit orders, if only some shares are available at your limit price, you may only see a part of your order has filled. This is usually only the case with much larger orders though. You'll also see some other information in the other columns on the left. Here you can review your limit price if using a limit order, and confirm your final fill price for any type of order. Let's hop over to our positions page found right next to the orders page by clicking here. And on this page, we can review any information about our current investments, not just our orders. First, you'll see a symbol and a description of the investment, and the next two columns are our open and closed quantities. Open simply means the shares that you currently possess in your account, and closed quantity would be the shares that have been sold. The next column shows our average purchase price. This is useful to see if you have multiple buys of the same investment at very different prices. The price column here shows the current price per share, and the market value is simply the amount of shares you own multiplied by the current share price. Percentage of your portfolio is quite simple. It's just how large this investment is compared to the rest of your investments and your total equity. Lastly, you can see your open and closed profit and loss numbers for your investments. To recap, open is a profit or loss that hasn't been confirmed or realized yet. Basically, you own the investment and have not yet locked in your profit or loss. Close would be the final realized gains or losses once you have sold your shares. Alright, so we've gone through a few sample trades and covered some of the important pages within our trading platform. Let's move on to our account activity page where we can track exactly what's happening in your account. To head back to the account activity page, we'll click the trading button on the top left and click Accounts. Once we're back on the summary page, let's click Reports, then select Account Activity. On this page, we have a few key options here at the top. First, we'll select our date range that we'd like to view, then you can also switch between accounts owned by yourself or any accounts that you're also an authorized trader for. Below, we'll see a list of all our accounts, and if I scroll down, we'll be able to see some of the activity in all our accounts. If you'd like to filter to one specific account, please click the account number and type box, and your account activities will be filtered. We have a number of different activities in your account that you can filter by. Currently, every activity is shown, but if we want to exclude anything, you can simply click the appropriate box like this. To filter down to one specific activity you'd like to track, simply deselect all with this handy button here, and only highlight the box for the activities that you would like to see. This page is packed full of useful information to monitor your account, and has some great hidden tools to help get you to the information you're looking for easier. When tracking trades and dividends, we can filter by any specific stock or ETF symbol with the small filter button here. And you can further sort your results by clicking any of the column names to view by ascending or descending. One cool feature to finish off our account activity page would be the Export to Excel button found at the top here. You can export any of the raw account activity information directly to your computer and review however you'd like, either through Microsoft Excel or other similar software. So that was our account activity page. I hope the information covered in today's video was useful, informative, and engaging. If you have further questions while getting started, our resources pages are super useful, especially the help and how-to sections. You can find this on the main Questrade website under the resources header. Feel free to explore these pages or get in touch anytime with either our new accounts or client services teams with the shown contact information. On behalf of Questrade, thank you everyone for your time today. I hope our introduction to trading and using your account video has been useful. We're looking forward to seeing you trading and investing with us in the future, and please don't hesitate to reach out if we can be of any assistance at all. We're always happy to help out.